Hello everyone! I'm out here on Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu. And as beautiful as this stretch of coastline always is, there's a heavier story that lingers in the air. Back in January 2025, just 8 months ago, this community was hit hard by devastating fires. The winds were fierce, the hillsides bone dry, and within hours, flames raced down from Santa Monica Mountains straight toward the coast. Malibu has seen fires before, but this one felt different. It tore through neighborhoods and landmarks that had stood for decades. Restaurants like the Real Inn, Chelada Thai, Gladstones, even Moonshadows, places where families gathered, tourists stopped in, and locals shared memories were reduced to rubble in a matter of hours. Thousands of residents had to evacuate as embers jumped canyons and spot fires flared dangerously close to homes along the cliffs. What struck me, though, even from afar at the time, was just how quickly it all happened. In winter, in January of all months, a reminder that fire season isn't just fall anymore. It's year-round. Driving here now, you still see the scars. Blackened hillsides, empty lots where homes once stood. But there are also signs of resilience. Some houses survived, rebuilt stronger. Wildflowers are blooming in charred soil. And everywhere, the message on storefronts and bumper stickers is the same. It's sobering to think how fragile this beauty is. Yet at the same time, it's inspiring to see how determined this community is to keep rebuilding, no matter how many times fire tries to take it away. So as I make this drive today, I'm holding on to both truths: the loss that can't be ignored and the strength that refuses to be burned out. It's a warm, early morning, and I find myself on the Pacific Coast Highway. Malibu stretched out before me. The ocean glistens on one side, endless and blue, while the Santa Monica Mountains rise rugged on the other. Driving here has always been a meditation, something about the rhythm of the waves crashing against the shore just beyond the guardrails, and the way the sunlight filters through the haze. But today, this drive carries a different weight. I'm here not just for the beauty, but to witness what remains. 8 months after the devastating January 2025 fires that tore through Los Angeles County, scarring Malibu once again. It's hard to believe so much time has passed, and yet as I drive, the reminders are everywhere. Remembering January 2025 back, when the fires raged, it felt like deja vu. Malibu, a community so often linked with sunshine, surf, and celebrity, has lived through too many of these infernos. But this one was different. The winds were unforgiving, the flames unpredictable, and the winter dryness made the perfect fuel. More than 2,000 structures across LA County were damaged or destroyed, and thousands of acres of chaparral and canyon land gone in a matter of days. I remember watching the coverage, the smoke rising like a dark curtain over the city, the sky turning an apocalyptic orange, families fleeing with what little they could carry, entire neighborhoods transformed into ash overnight. Malibu was hit hard. People lost homes, businesses, memories, and even now, 8 months later, the wounds haven't fully healed. As I continue along the PCH, the contrasts are striking. On the left, surfers bob in the waves, waiting for the perfect break, life seemingly untouched. On the right, up in the canyons and hillsides, blackened scars still mark the terrain. Patches of green are starting to re-emerge, proof of nature's resilience, but it's uneven. Some slopes are still bare, jagged, vulnerable to landslides. I slowed down, passing through stretches where the fire line came dangerously close to the highway. Guardrails are scorched, signage faded. And yet, nestled among the burned-out areas, I see newly rebuilt homes, their clean lines and fresh paint a sharp contrast to the devastation around them. Some driveways, though, still lead to nothing. Empty lots where homes once stood, now just piles of rubble or flattened foundations. It's a strange mix of sorrow and hope. You can't help but feel the weight of what was lost, but also the courage of rebuilding. Driving through Malibu isn't just about geography. It's about the people. This fire didn't discriminate. Longtime locals, surfers, ranchers, and yes, even celebrities all felt the impact. I think of families who lost multi-generational homes, where decades of memories vanished in a night. I think of the firefighters who worked around the clock, risking their lives to protect strangers' houses as if they were their own. I think of the animals, horses evacuated from ranches, pets left behind in the chaos, wildlife forced to flee their shrinking habitats. Each stretch of the charred hillside feels like a storybook of resilience, though the words are painful. Malibu has burned before: the 2018 Woolsey fire, the 1993 Old Topanga fire, countless smaller blazes in between. Each time, people rebuild, knowing it might happen again. And still they choose to stay. That says something profound about the love of place, about identity tied to land and ocean, about refusing to let fire have the last word. As I keep driving, I can't help but think about the bigger picture. Fires in January, that's not something we used to hear about. Winter was once a season of rest for these landscapes, but now fire season feels year-round. Climate change has shifted the rhythm, leaving less recovery time between disasters. It is not just Malibu. Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, they all carry scars of firestorms that seem to come with greater intensity each year. The beauty of the coast feels almost fragile when you hold that reality in your mind. But then there's another truth. These hills have always burned. Fire is part of the natural cycle here. Clearing brush, making way for regrowth. The difference now is scale and frequency. Our relationship with the land, how we build, how we prepare, how we adapt, has to evolve. 8 months isn't a long time in the life of a forest, but along PCH, you can already see signs of healing. Small green shoots sprouting from the blackened soil, wildflowers, bright yellows and purples dotting the edges of burned-out slopes. Nature has this uncanny ability to remind us that life insists on returning, no matter how harsh the destruction. I spot volunteers planting new trees, a small crew of workers reinforcing a hillside to prevent mudslides when the rains return. Local businesses along the highway have Malibu strong signs still in their windows, a mantra carried over from past fires, and once again, it feels as relevant as ever. There's something profoundly moving about seeing beauty rise out of ruin. The coast, the hills, the community. They're scarred, but not defeated. Holding space for loss and hope as I drive, I find myself quieting down, letting the sound of the waves fill the pauses between thoughts. It's impossible to witness these remnants without reflecting inward. Loss is something we all carry, in one form or another. For me, this drive becomes more than a look at burned hillsides. It's a reminder of how we deal with the fires in our own lives. The ones that strip us down, leave us raw, force us to start over. Maybe not in flames, but in heartbreak, in illness, in grief. 8 months after a fire, the pain is still real, but so is the growth. The land shows us that healing isn't about erasing scars. It's about carrying while still moving forward. Maybe that's why people rebuild in Malibu again and again. is an act of defiance, but also an act of faith. The sun is still shining bright. Malibu still has that golden glow. A pull to the turnout, and to the left, the Pacific stretches endless, calm, unchanged. To the right, the mountains bear the scars, but also their regrowth. The ocean has always been a witness to Malibu's fires and recoveries, lapping against the shore as if to say, life continues. I stand there a while, breathing it all in. The smell of salt, the faint memory of smoke still lingering in the hills. The sound of waves crashing steady against the rocks. This drive has been a reminder, not just of what was lost, but of what endures. Malibu is scarred, yes, but Malibu is also strong. The land, the ocean, the people, they've all been tested, and they'll be tested again, and still they rise. As I continue down the PCH, I hold on to that thought. 8 months after the fires, Malibu is still standing. The scars remain, but so does the spirit. And maybe that's the message this drive leaves me with. Life is fragile, but also fiercely resilient. We may burn, but we also bloom again. Continuing on the Pacific Coast Highway, there's this stretch that feels almost untouched by everything that happened earlier this year. The hillsides here still glow with that deep California green, dotted with coastal sage and wildflowers. No blackened scars, no signs of fire. Just nature as it's meant to be. On my left, the Pacific stretches wide and endless, the kind of view that makes you roll the windows down just to let the salt air pour in. Surfers' cars line the shoulder, wetsuits draped over mirrors, as waves roll in with that perfect rhythm. This part of the drive feels like a breather, a reminder that even when fire leaves its mark on so much of the coast, there are still pockets of beauty that stand unchanged. The cliffs rise strong, the ocean sparkles as if nothing ever threatened it, and for a few miles, it's just pure Malibu magic. As the highway curves north, the coastline opens wider, and soon enough, I'm pulling into Zuma Beach. Zuma has always been one of Malibu's wide-open escapes, a stretch of golden sand, endless sky, and waves that crash with a kind of steady rhythm that makes you pause. I park, step out, and the ocean air immediately washes over me. That mix of salt and sun that feels like an instant reset. The beach here is quieter than some of Malibu's smaller coves, and that's what I love about it. Families scatter across the sand, surfers paddle out further down, but there's still space to just breathe, to take it all in. Walking along the shoreline, I can't help but think about the contrast between what I just drove through, the scars of fire up in the hills, and this sense of renewal here by the water. The waves keep rolling, no matter what happens inland. It's a reminder of continuity, of how life holds both destruction and peace at the same time. I stop for a moment, letting the cold water lap at my feet, watching the sun shimmer across the horizon. Simple as it is, these are the moments that ground me. The beach doesn't ask anything from you. It just offers a place to stand still and listen. The sun is high overhead as I step onto Zuma Beach, casting bright light across the wide stretch of sand. The warmth of the day makes the greens shimmer like tiny gold flecks, and the ocean sparkles with every ripple. People dot the beach in a lively rhythm, kids digging in the sand, friends tossing frisbees, volleyball, surfers cutting through the waves, and sunbathers scattered along the shore. There's an energy here that feels playful but not overwhelming, a balance between activity and space. I walk closer to the water, feeling the surf splash against my ankles, The waves crash with a steady, confident motion, carrying the scent of salt and seaweed. Seagulls wheel overhead, calling out in their sharp cries, adding to the soundtrack of the summer on the coast. Midday at Zuma feels expansive. The ocean stretches out endlessly, the cliffs and hills framing it with quiet strength, and the sunlight highlights every detail, from the foam of the waves to the textures in the sand. Being here is a reminder of how vibrant the coast can feel in a single moment, full of life, light, and movement. After a while, I make my way back to the car, ready to trade the coastline for the mountains. From Zuma, I turn onto Canaan Road, a road that cuts through the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains, winding its way back toward the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. Almost immediately, the scenery shifts. The ocean fades into the rearview mirror, and ahead, rugged cliffs and canyon walls rise on both sides. Canaan is one of those roads that reminds you how wild Malibu really is once you leave the PCH. It's narrow in places, steep in others, and then you hit those tunnels carved straight through the rock. Driving through the first tunnel feels like crossing into another world. The sudden darkness, the echo of engine bouncing off the walls, and then the burst of light as you emerge on the other side. It's almost cinematic. Each tunnel feels like a gateway, carrying you deeper into the mountains. Cliffside stretches open up, and views that drop away into canyons below. Layered hills stretching out in shades of brown, green, and gold. The land slowly stitching itself back together. As I climb higher, the ocean breeze disappears, replaced by the warm, dry air of the valley side. It's been a reminder of California's contrasts, fragile and fierce, scarred and beautiful, all in one drive. Malibu and the Santa Monica Mountains aren't just about scenery, they're about perspective. You witness how nature burns, heals, and endures. And you remember every journey like this one carries both loss and renewal if you're willing to look for it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more.